Hey, how's it going, everybody? It is Jazzy of Sasquatch here, and we are doing our Throwback Thursdays. We have some movies. We have three movies for you. One new, couple old ones. More of like a fun topic too with the two older ones. Just you'll see when we talk about it. And then we have our Better Call Saul review part of it. We are at the end of season 4 here. Crazy kind of ending too. And our box office for the weekend. Crazy numbers here for Project Hail Mary, and I still haven't seen it. It's gonna be like one of those movies like Oppenheimer. Where I just never see it for some reason, but it's still a big hit. I don't know why I'm not going to see it. I just need to just sit down and watch it. So I'll probably try and do that maybe this weekend because Mario Brothers movies, and I can give an excuse to go there. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. We'll get that one watched, but just a mega hit. So we'll talk about that too. We'll start here with our movies. Here we'll start with a new one, Mike and Nick, and Nick and Alice, directed by Ben David Grabinski, starring Vince Vaughn, James Marsden, and Eliza Gonzalez. Two friends navigate the dangerous world of organized crime, testing their loyalty and survival skills as they get deeper into the criminal underworld. This really is like a high concept kind of comedy thriller action movie. Really good funny parts in this as well as the action. You kind of have to carry it nowadays with all that because just the way these movies kind of work out and some of the more like action sequences that we get really do kind of show like bones breaking and like teeth getting knocked out. So it's kind of like more fun to have like a great like soundtrack behind it instead of like just kind of like adult like just him just beating ass like some movies in the past. But this is good. Vince Vaughn comes back to the past to save his buddy Nick, who is dating his wife Alice. At the time of this, he is getting accused of being the mole for the family that they work for. In the past, he had already been killed, and Vince Vaughn found out that he is actually innocent, so he comes back. And both Vince Vaughns get together. Really funny. I mean, this is really gonna be a classic Vince Vaughn movie. Um, Everything he's kind of done lately has been really good with Arkansas in mind there, and Dragged Across Concrete, and even the Freaky Friday or Freaky whatever movie that he was in. I think it is Freaky now that I think about it, where he gets kind of turned from a serial killer into a teenage girl. Really kind of funny. There was a little bit there time period there where we got a little bit too much Vince Vaughn being Vince Vaughn, but I think that that kind of has passed, and that we just kind of want to see Vince Vaughn's charm, and we get that all around in this movie. Keith David shows up, Dolph Lundgren, Stephen Root, Ben Schwartz pop up in this as well. I mean, so many more people are in this. I think Eliza Gonzalez is very good in this movie. So same with James Marsden, very good in this. Him and Vince kind of have a natural chemistry, which is kind of cool to see. With that, I think that Vince is always kind of one of those guys that kind of get along with anybody. This is a Fox Searchlight movie. They're not always like the best pedigree movies, but this one is worth it. It is on Hulu. If you want to check it out, I suggest you check it out. It is very like entertaining, very fun, and that is Mike and Nick and Nick and Alice, directed by Ben David Grabinski. So we're gonna talk about two movies here from the '90s. Kind of fun movies here, and we're gonna kind of have like a fun discussion about them. But the first one we're gonna start here with is Pleasantville, directed by Gary Ross, starring Tobey Maguire, Jeff Daniels, and Reese Witherspoon. Two 1990s teenage siblings find themselves transported to a 1950s sitcom where their influence begins to profoundly change that colorless, complacent world. Josh Allen. Joan Allen shows up in this. William H Macy, Paul Walker, Don Knotts, so many more people. I think Maggie Lawson from Psych pops up in this. A couple other people. I mean, you're just gonna spot him, and you're like, "Damn, he's young in this, but he's in it." Because they just have like this whole like teenage crowd behind it, and in the backdrop of this show. This is honestly like one of my favorite movies of like all time. It's definitely in the top 10 list. Like, if we're gonna be like, "Hey, you got three movies going to a desert island with," I take this one because every time you watch it, you kind of notice something different. There's like kind of a lot of fun to it, and it's kind of one of those movies that is meant to be rewatched a bunch of times just because of what it's based about and the TV programs in it. When I went back and looked at the numbers here, I was surprised. This was not a hit. Budget of 60 million, opening of 8.8, and it had a $49.8 million total gross. So this is not a hit. I don't get it. This is, like I said, one of my favorite movies. I think I caught it on cable once. I just like so much about it. One of my favorite characters of like movies of all time is in this is Jeff Daniels as um the shop owner. Toby McGuire's just late one day, and he just kind of explains to Toby, he's like, "You didn't show up. Like every day you show up, I do this, you do that, and I know what to do. Today you didn't show up, I didn't know what to do." And then from that, it just kind of spirals into this whole existential, or however you want to say it, crisis that he's having because he doesn't know where he belongs in this world now, and it's kind of goes through this decade of early 50s, the 60s, the 70s, where we kind of get the rock and roll and stuff and the rebellion spirit into it. They add the color from the black and white, which is really cool how they do it. Each character's kind of own awakening kind of makes them colorful in their own way, and it just kind of shoots out there, and then it kind of sticks to when they're showing to that backdrop. But like the fun thing about this movie is like think about it from today, 2026, going back to like 1990. Like that's what we're talking about here, or not 1990. That's the next movie from 2026 to like 1986. Imagine going back into like a sitcom then, like the Cosby Show or something like crazy like that, where not only that, but there was like a little bit more realistic to it, a little bit more edge to it, and a lot of these, like, it would be a fun like contrast to kind of look at that and go into this and just kind of like remake it, or just thinking about it like that. Just thinking about it like that is just kind of fun too, because there's only like 40-year difference here, and we're already there, kind of into the 80s from here. So wild here, make you feel old. The second one we're going to talk about is Blast from the Past, directed by Hugh Wilson, starring Brendan Fraser, Alicia Silverstone, Christopher Walken, Sissy Spacek. And yeah, a naive man comes out into the world after spending 35 years in a nuclear fallout shelter. I think naive is like the nicest way possible of describing Brendan Fraser's character in this. And it makes no sense how he's like 35, but really I think Brendan Fraser would have been like 22 in this movie, or he looks like he's 22 in this movie. I mean, he still looks young today, even for his age, but there ain't no way this dude was 35 at the time of this movie. I have to look it up. There is no way. Nathan Fillion, Dave Foley, so many more people show up in this one. Very charming story. Crazy thing about how this would be like 1990 to today. Imagine going from 1990, dropping into the world, and then coming into today. Just how crazy everything would be. This is another one of my favorite characters here with Christopher Walken, because he's so smart and he kind of misses such a great part of his decade, because it would have been 35 years of 1964 when he went down. So I think he missed like the 70s and the 80s and like the sexual awakenings and all this like crazy stuff that like he probably would have been really open to doing, just because of his personality and just the way he is in this movie. So that is crazy. Brendan Fraser coming out here like a fish out of water into LA. It's hilarious. Lisa Silverstone. I mean, it just makes no sense why she just disappeared for like 15 years. But maybe she was so big, she probably cashed out, and then that Batman movie didn't really help her. But just so natural in this. It's so good to see her in this. And these two are the same movie, pretty much, really, when you think about it, because um, going back from 1990, 1950, different concepts, but like the same. They're living in the past, or different concepts, different, not the same like concepts, but like different methods of getting there. Because one's taking you back into a TV show, the other one's taking you back into reality, and just imagine like the mental and all that craziness. And they find out that the bomb didn't happen, and crazy movie. So yeah, that is our fun little 90s review here, and our way to make everyone feel old. And that is Blast from the Past and Pleasantville, that we have just got done talking about here. We'll go into our box office report, and then we'll go into a long haul of Better Call Saul. A budget of 60 million. Oh wait, budget of 60. Oh, this yeah, that was the last one. Anyways, box office report for the weekend: Project Hail Mary, 54.1 million, 169.2 million. I mean, a hit of a hit of a hit. Gotta go see it. I'm gonna go see it. Hopper's 12.7 million. I mean, this is another hit, 139.6. Just Another good family movie there. Those are the two ones that did over 10 million for the weekend. It wasn't really anything special this weekend. I bet Mario Brothers is going to put up a huge number this weekend. So that'll be something interesting to see. Um, Here we are. Better Call Saul, season 4, episode 7, Something Stupid. Came out September 17th, 2018. It's a montage of Jimmy and Kim showing how they are slipping apart since Kim announced a bombshell of her joining the law firm. So that was like the last part of the last episode. Kim said, "Hey, I'm going to join whatever it is. I don't remember the name. I'm sure that I have it written down somewhere." But Jimmy did not take that news very well. Jimmy takes his buddy around in office when we finally get out of this montage, and he's acting like his buddy is Kim and trying to sell him on joining the office with him. Hector is having a doctor's meeting, and we see that there is some sort of life as he knocks the cup over and he looks at the nurse's ass. Jimmy goes to a dinner with Kim at her office and starts to get a little jealous. Gus gets an update on Hector, and this is where we see the video of it. And Gus kind of figured it out too. So there is a brain in there. It is working, and there is something going on. And he was excited about that nurse bending over. An accident at the super meth lab cost the team, who was already kind of bottomed out of morale. We saw that just before the Hector scene, and now it is going to add some time, and people are not happy about it. A cop visits with Jimmy as he's selling his phones outside of a van, and his buddy comes up and cold clocks the cop from behind. Does not know it's a cop. It is it's the ununiformed cop. All this blah blah. He gets in trouble, gets arrested. The engineer asks Mike for some R&R for the boys. Kim and goes to the DA and discusses Jimmy's buddy's case after Jimmy comes clean with her about the phones. Um, yeah, Kim's ride or die with Jimmy. You're gonna hear that about like three more times till the end of this. This is Kim's with Jimmy no matter what. So episode 8, Coushatta, September 24th, 2018. Jimmy heads to Louisiana to go forward with Kim's plan of helping his buddy by sending a bunch of fake outrage letters from the hometown of his buddy. He even gets a bunch of the people on the bus he is on to join him and help him. A new guy shows up who is helping Hector. Mike gives the workers some R&R at the strip club. One of them gets kicked out of the club. Mike makes it okay, but as he's doing that, he leaves a head engineer at the bar, and the head engineer is at the bar, he starts to get a little bit lippy with the other patrons there, and Mike kind of does not like that. Of course, the judge calls Jimmy and DA into the office about the letters he received from the people of Louisiana and demands immediate action for this case to be closed. Kim is with Jimmy, ride or die. Kim wants to do more scams and even does one to help Mesa Verde get a bigger building in a new town after asked about it with her boss. So her and Jimmy start coming up with a plan to help Mesa Verde get these architect things in. Kim not only loves it, is thriving with Jimmy. Um, it's crazy though because it's just it, she could do so much better, but at the same time, like I get it, man. She's loyal to him. Jimmy is without his own faults, but he is a really good guy. So there's where we are. Episode 9, Wiedersehen. October 1st, 2018. Kim and Jimmy run the game on Lubbock, Texas to get the new blueprints in for Mesa Verde. The new guy and Nacho go and visit with Hector, and this is where we see the bell that we see in the show being created. Hector and the new guy are trying to cut Nacho out, it seems like. Honestly, the program I'm watching it on, and I had to switch it, and I didn't switch it, so I didn't really see what they said, but it seemed like they were definitely cutting Nacho out. They do a successful demolition down in the super lab. Mike notices something wrong with the engineer. The engineer asks Mike if he can see his wife, and Mike tells him that he cannot to focus on finishing on the job. Jimmy has a meeting with the parole board about getting reinstated into a lawyer again. He does not get it. Kim and Jimmy have a blowout on Jimmy being a loser, and Kim tells him afterwards, "You want to be a lawyer again?" And like I said, ride or die. Immediately comes up with a plan for him to do it. This sets up our finale here. Mike notices that this is another part of it too. Mike notices that the camera's been compromised and that the engineer is gone. So now our finale here is Mike trying to catch the engineer and Jimmy trying to get his job back and under Kim's supervision here because Kim is ride or die with Jimmy. Jimmy is being sworn in as a lawyer with his brother Chuck and sponsoring him, and then it goes to a celebration with Chuck and Jimmy celebrating by singing karaoke. So this is obviously in the past. They look very happy together, by the way. Mike looks for the engineer, and the new guy is following Mike and trying to figure out what Gus is up to. Jimmy has donated a new room to the university, trying to impress the board with the fact that he loves his brother. They are picking candidates for the scholarship Chuck left behind, and Jimmy didn't get the pick he wanted. He talks to this girl, and he's like, "Look, you just got to do it. You got to focus. You got to work harder than everyone now. You kind of fucked up. That's why they didn't want you, but you got to keep going. You got to keep doing your thing, and you're gonna get there." So it was a good little pep talk here. I think he saw a lot of himself in this girl as well. The new guy gets a hold of the scientist before Mike, and as Mike shows up, he is talking with him. Mike has to kill the engineer, and he is not very happy about it. Asks the engineer what he was thinking, telling him to stop his wife, to tell her to turn around, or Gus will kill her as well. And then Mike kills him. One of the best scenes of the show. It is crazy sad, crazy good. Mike, Mike just had to do his job. Jimmy has one last hearing with the committee and goes all about Chuck and how wonderfully him and Jimmy is reinstated. Oh, and by the way, Jimmy is gonna be Saul Goodman from now on because that is his pager name. That is the scumbags know him as that name, and he thinks he can use that name. And we are cooking here. We have to be getting close to him meeting with Gus and figuring that out and doing all this crazy stuff. Like we have 2 seasons left. It's about to get wild here. Watch next week. We'll start the season 5 here. Whew. We're counting down. And I want to see what happened to Kim because we never really saw Kim in Breaking Bad. I don't remember much. And if we did, it was very fleeting. So I wonder what happened to her with all this. We're gonna get some real answers here this next season. Have to be getting these real answers here. So I'm excited for that. We'll get a live show going this weekend. And if you ever watch this channel, you'll know I'm like 3 weeks behind every time I say something. I'm just trying to figure out what is a cool way to do it. Not a cool way, but like a easy way to do it. Not like totally easy, but just kind of like take a lot of the talking and stuff off of me, putting on to something else, and just letting us all kind of be funny together and relaxing together. Type of environment I'm trying to create. So we'll figure that out. I promise you, Saturday we will do something at some point in time. Thank you guys for following. Thank you guys for watching, and please have a good rest of your day or night.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section. And see you next time in the cave.